Hey guys, I'm Hava Schultz, and today I'm going to share with you my all-time favorite movies. There are a lot of other movies that I do love, but to keep this video to a reasonable length, I have just gone ahead and chosen my top, technically 10, although it's going to come off as 8 because I'm grouping sequels together. And I'm going to split it into a few different categories. Disney is basically the mastermind when it comes to movies spanning all ages, whether that's for kids or adults, anyone in between, anyone outside those limits, whatever that even means. My top favorite Disney movies of all time is absolutely Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. I love both of these movies so much. I am clumping them as one movie because I don't want to be forced to choose a favorite. They're completely different and they work so well in harmony. I love the music in both of them also, so this is a really great movie. But I really feel like Frozen 2 is an attachment to Frozen 1, where a lot of sequels, I know they're kind of thrown out there to make money, and you could watch it without having seen the first, but this movie I really feel like you get a lot more out of when you see the first, so they kind of depend on each other a little bit, because also the first movie makes a lot more sense once you've seen the second, because a lot of unanswered questions are addressed in the sequel. My grandma actually watched this movie with us without having ever seen the first, and I can't imagine having that experience, but she loved the second regardless of not having seen the first ones. Frozen 1 and Frozen 2, definitely watch them in order. Frozen 2 is more dramatized, more intense. I love winter, I just think it's so magical, and I also love how in these movies, it's very much about self-love, and the focus is not as much on romantic love, which is different than a lot of Disney movies. So that's something that I really love about it, and I'm gonna say that without saying much more in case you haven't seen them, because I want you to go watch it and I don't want to spoil it. But let me tell you, when I saw Frozen 1 in the theaters, I definitely had a jaw-dropping moment. So if you've seen the movie, you probably know which scene I'm talking about. It is towards the end, but for now, that's enough. I don't want to spoil too much. I love those movies so much. The next one is Aladdin. Growing up, Aladdin was my favorite Disney movie because Frozen didn't come out until I was in high school. In fact, I was a junior in high school. So although technically I was under 18, still a kid, that wasn't really something I grew up with. So it is my favorite now, but it has not always been my favorite because for the first 16, 17 years of my life, it didn't exist. So up until then, Aladdin was my favorite. And now the live action version of Aladdin has come out, and I actually like that one more than the animated. Growing up, I loved Aladdin because it was kind of different than the other Disney princess movies in that, I know this may sound silly, but I realized without anyone pointing it out to me that Jasmine was the only one who wore pants. And I liked wearing pants, and so I kind of liked that. I also liked how she had kind of a spunky personality, and she was strong, and they actually continued with that in the live action version. They made some modifications, so if you've seen the animated but not the live action, I will say there are what I consider some upgrades. One of them is that Jasmine gets her own song in the live action version, which is really cool. It's an amazing song. In fact, once you see it, or if you have already seen it, you're gonna be singing this song so much. It's great. It's called Speechless. Go ahead and either watch the movie or even download the soundtrack. I don't think that the song will give the movie away, although it would be great if you go ahead and watch the movie and then sing the song. Another thing about this movie is that I think the logistics of the end of the storyline regarding Jasmine and her conclusion in the story may have actually been a little bit modified. So I don't want to say it exactly because I'm trying to keep spoilers out of this since these are my favorite movies. So I want you to go watch them. I love the music. I know there are critics about Will Smith being Genie in the live action because Robin Williams is a legend. But what I loved about it is that Will Smith made the character his own. He didn't try to be Robin Williams. And so for that, I think he did a really great job putting his own spin on it, throwing in some of that hip hop feel, some of that rap, and his dancing. I think it's really fantastic. Love this movie. Go ahead and give it a watch. It's also really funny, so you've got everything. Like every Disney movie, you have a little bit of comedy, you have a little bit of romance, you have a little bit of action, and this movie definitely all encompasses those things too. My third favorite Disney movie, which honestly, I haven't seen it in a long time because it is kind of a longer movie, And the more I find myself attached to these other two, the less attached I feel to this third movie I'm about to tell you, which is Mary Poppins Returns. It's the sequel to the original Mary Poppins starring Julie Andrews, but it came out within the past couple of years, so the cast is entirely different, although there are some sneaky appearances from the original cast, including, I believe, the dog lady in Mary Poppins Returns is Jane, like the actor who played Jane from the first movie. So that's pretty cool. They did try to get Julie Andrews to come in and participate in the final scene, but she respectfully declined. She gave a PC answer, not wanting to take the show away from Emily Blunt, who did an amazing job as Mary Poppins, but there could have also been some personal reasons behind that, and I completely respect her decision. The person that they cast instead, which I believe is Angela Lansbury, she was the teapot in Beauty and the Beast, so she's not new to Disney either, and she did a great job. And this was a really fun movie because the music was really great. Of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda was involved, so I was loving that. Overall, it's just a really fun, wholesome movie. It's really silly in a lot of parts, which I know might turn some people off because some of the silliness is just kind of ridiculous. There's nothing clever about it. It's just silly, but it's fun, and it really feels like childhood, so I like that. I love Lin-Manuel Miranda songs, they're really fun. I would recommend you watch the first Mary Poppins first, but you don't have to. So that's something that's really cool about it also, is that they're connected, but they aren't dependent on each other. That's it for my favorite Disney movies. I'm gonna move on to favorite Marvel movies. Well, we're kind of on it because although Disney does own Marvel, the Marvel movies are completely different because these are your superhero movies. This one's pretty easy for me. My favorite Marvel movie is Spider-Man, and again, I'm gonna group them together. Spider-Man, both Homecoming and Far From Home. They're lighthearted, they're fun, but they still have that action element, and I think the storylines are really good. Honestly, you just need to watch them. I think you will appreciate these movies more though if you have seen everything leading up to it, but I know that is a huge time commitment because every Marvel movie is gonna be, what, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and there are a lot of movies leading up to Spider-Man. You do not have to see the movies that came before it in the Marvel universe to appreciate it, but you will get certain jokes, you will get certain scenes, and understand certain characters a little bit better if you have seen those movies. So if you're interested in Marvel, period, just go ahead and watch those first, and then Spider-Man will be towards the end of your watch list. I actually didn't see Marvel movies growing up. In fact, I saw almost all of the Marvel movies leading up to Black Panther in the span of about 1 year because my boyfriend loves Marvel movies, and so it meant a lot to him that I knew the full storyline of the decade's worth of content or whatever it was leading up to the release of Black Panther so we could go see it in the theater, and also Avengers, I believe that one was Infinity War, was that the one? Whichever one came out around the same time as Black Panther, so that way I could see them in the theater with him and it would all make sense. So I'm glad that I saw those. I probably wouldn't rewatch most of those movies because although they were very well made movies and I did enjoy them, they're not my kind of rewatch movies because they were more intense, but they were good movies. And I love Captain America, his character, my heart. But Spider-Man stole it because for the first time I have a celebrity crush. I love Tom Holland. I think he is awesome and I would love to be friends with him someday. So Tom Holland, if you're watching this, just, you know, give me a ring. I'm not really one to be starstruck because I think people are just people, but if I could meet Tom Holland, that would be really cool, but I also don't want to really be fangirl, so I really just want to be friends with him because he seems like a pretty cool guy overall, and he's been successful at a young age. I want to be successful at a young age. We're around the same age, and I just think he seems like a pretty cool guy, and I'd like to be friends with him, and I would not take advantage of that. Anyway, that's kind of off topic. My favorite Christmas movie, hands down, is Elf. I love it. Admittedly, I totally watched this movie in the summertime, like we're talking July, watching Elf just because it is so funny, so ridiculous, and I know people do have mixed opinions on Will Ferrell. I have loved most of his movies. I think he's a really funny guy, so I really like Elf. I think it's really hilarious, and if you just want a good Christmas movie that makes you laugh, this is the movie for you. It's iconic. I'm sure you've seen it, but I had to throw it out there. The rest of the movies I'm gonna say in this video are just in the other category. I'm honestly not 100% sure of who makes all of these, but they're just other movies that to me didn't really fit in any one category, but I do love. One of those would be The Parent Trap. This was a favorite movie of mine growing up. In fact, the version with Lindsay Lohan, I actually like that better than the original version. So if that's one you haven't seen, it's a really cute childhood movie. I watched it so many times. I could probably still say every line of that movie, and it has been years since I've seen it. It's cute, it's a cool story, and that's pretty much it. Another movie that I like is Monte Carlo. This is another one that is geared at younger people. In fact, I saw it in the theater and I didn't really think a whole lot of it until later on at some point. We're talking probably late high school, maybe early college. My cousin, my sister, and I all somehow dug this movie up and became obsessed with it, and we watched it over and over every week that we would see each other once a year. Fantastic movie, started watching it on my own. There was even one summer that I think I just would take a grapefruit, and I like to take my time eating grapefruit, so like I'll use one of those peely tools to peel it away, and then I take away all that white stuff because I don't really like it, open it up, and then I'll take the part off that protects the flesh so that all I eat is the flesh, and it's really a great experience, but it makes my hands completely preoccupied. They're totally sticky, can't touch anything. And I would just watch that movie while I ate my grapefruit, and it was a fantastic experience. I've even taken the music from that and put it on my Spotify songs list because I like the Monte Carlo soundtrack. So that's a really fun movie. It stars Selena Gomez, and it's just a cute movie about some girls who end up in Europe. And without saying too much, I definitely felt like this plays into my love of travel, but it's a romanticized situation that could have gone way wrong in real life. And I started watching this movie long before I had ever been to Europe, so that was kind of fun. And I've been there now, but it's still a fun movie because it's just such a wild storyline that would never happen in real life, but I love it anyway. And then the very last movie I want to tell you is an old movie, and I love this movie so much. When Harry Met Sally. This movie is fantastic. I know that it's most famous for a certain scene that is not rated G, so if you are young watching this, you're probably gonna need to wait a few more years to see this movie, but it's a rom-com. Hardcore, it's a rom-com. But it's also set back, I wanna say like in the 70s or 80s, and so I love how the style of the clothes they wear is different. It's in New York City, but it is not the New York City that I've experienced. I like the music that they put in that movie. I've put that on my Spotify as well. I find it relaxing and just low-key, and so that's really cool. It's a storyline that probably would never happen, although it's possible. It's a neat story. The character development is really cool in my opinion, and I definitely recommend you watch this movie. It's one that I've seen a bajillion times too. I'm not a big movie watcher. I do have to put that out there. Some of you out there might be like, what the heck? Those are your favorite movies? What about Star Wars? What about, I don't know, some other big hit movie? No, I'm not a big movie watcher, so I kind of zero in on my favorites and then I watch them over and over and over and basically never get tired of them. So that's me. I love these movies. I hope that watching this has given you some ideas of movies that you should see, and yeah, happy watching. See ya!